I will say that the collection of Mike Eckler, Phil Snow, the other players, including Archie, um, was pretty damn good. I think that was a really, really good middle of camp. This is what Nebraska football is. Now, Mike Eckler and this show share a lot in common because some people say that this show is like a fart in a skillet. Okay. But in this case, a 53-year-old man that yesterday quoted Days of Thunder, if you caught that.
Yeah.
He used that to talk about a good punter. Now, we talk about that, this show is a fart in a skillet. But those guys that spoke yesterday, it was really, really refreshing. And then the part that there's two things that really stood out to me. One, and yesterday was also a dose of reality that sports are entertainment, but they also include real live people that are humans. Mike Eckler strikes me as a guy that if his job was not fun, he would stop doing it in a heartbeat, and he would not even hesitate. Mike Eckler has so many great days, but that when it's not fun anymore, he's going to go find something else to do, which I think a lot of us should follow. Like if this ever became not a fun job, I would not be here the next day. I would be like, nope, this isn't. Mike Eckler yesterday, hearing him speak, and we've all heard him talk a lot. That struck me. And then the other part where reality hits. And I appreciate that Mitch asked the question. It could have been anybody. It's actually a really good question that I'm surprised of international athletes that we've not asked more. Because think about the transition you make as an international student, let alone an athlete. Okay. One day you're in your home country and you have never been out of your home country, let alone go to the greatest country in the world, the United States of America, to play a sport that you've never played before, but you have a little bit of knowledge, and you're 8,000 miles from home, and you're 18 years old, and you get on a plane, and according to your watch, 2 hours later, you're landing in a city that you've never been to, and all of a sudden there are people everywhere that you don't know who they are, and you don't know where to go get stuff. What do I eat? This is a whole new world. I'm not from the United States. And that question asked yesterday, which again, good question, I thought. I know people are not as enamored with the question, but I thought it was a good question because I was like, you know what? There are a lot of international athletes that we don't ask that question to because we just take it for granted. And then yesterday, a guy, it hit him all at once, who, by the way, turns 19 today. And he let you know that I'm human. I miss mom and dad. This is a transition. And we're like, okay, we take that for granted. So thank you for two guys yesterday that gave you a little dose of reality.
Also, too, like, I think you bring up the great point of like, maybe we don't ask international athletes that because we just kind of assume like, hey, that's something they're going through. I think this is such a unique situation though with Archie in particular, because I think you can say that like, some of the Australian basketball players that we've had like come and play at the University of Nebraska, they've been playing the sport their whole life. I'm sure at some point they've probably come overseas. They probably come to America for camp or for a showcase or something like that. This guy wasn't playing football. He just gets told all of a sudden one day, hey, pack your bags. You're heading to Nebraska. You're going to the middle of America, which is, incredibly different. I mean, grew up in Australia. This guy grew up next to the coast. He grew up like next to like people who like would go to the beach all the time and surf all the time and like, eat a specific style of food. And then he comes here to which could be the absolute opposite. And then the time difference too of like it's 9 p.m. right now in Australia. Like there is like very little time that he can like text and call and like contact his family. And he's 18. He's 18. I had
19 now.
19 now. Happy birthday, Archie. Congratulations. I had a person text me yesterday. She is not into sports. She does not like sports at all. And she sent me a TikTok of Archie Wilson. Like
it's that soundbite is everywhere.
Like she was like, "Oh my God, this is so." She goes, "This is so cool. He's so cute." Like this is so adorable. Like go Huskers.
Does she live in Lincoln?
No, she lives
Oh,
in Chicago.
okay,
So
okay.
unfortunately for Archie, can't set you up with that.
He just reminded us yesterday that it's a sport, and there are actually real humans that play that sport that are 18, 19 years old. And I don't know. I was as I was listening to the clip, and I listened to the whole interview, and he had some other good stuff about punting and rugby style punting and just the adjustment and his teammates, and of course being the Billy Joel of Nebraska football. Can you imagine? Because I think we're attracted to people that open up the Komodo, and they remind you that, yeah, I'm human. I have emotions. I have challenges. I'm 18 years old. I'm going through the same thing your son or daughter are going through, but I'm doing it in a foreign country. To him, is what if fan day was this Saturday instead of 2 weeks ago?
Oh,
Dylan was super popular, and he's the most popular person on the roster. But now that people have, oh my God, they have this freak. He can kick with both feet. He's ambipedal. And then you hear him speak and tell his story. I mean, his line for autographs would rival what Nebraska volleyball players had at their fan day.
I think that people are excited to punt in week 1 against Cincinnati. And the fact that has happened is just speaking to like how much of an impact this guy is.
Yeah, but you see what the balance is?
Yeah.
Like I know he will be and we'll get into more of a couple of things. I think he has some challenges when the season starts. Is he is going to definitely be a huge asset, but you'd almost like him not to do much.
No, yeah. I don't want him to play.
You're like, hey, it's great to have you, but I hope I never see you.
Well, with Archie, it's
I think that's what Peyton Manning would say. He would be upset to see his punter on the field.
He's gonna boom a punt, and we're gonna be salivating, right? And we're gonna be like, oh my God. But my fear is that we're gonna get to week 5 against Michigan State, and you're gonna be like, I'm seeing too much of Archie today. I'm just I like 83. He's cool, awesome dude. Why does he have more punting yards than my quarterback has throwing yards? That should not exist. So we'll be excited for the very first punt in Cincinnati, and then we will say, whoa, that was cool. I don't want to see that ever again.
What's the
I'd like to see a few before.
No, I don't. Joey, no, you don't.
A reasonable number would be under 10.
What's a reasonable number?
Under 10, I would say.
Under for the season?
Before conference play.
Okay, well, if that happens, Nebraska's going to the college football.
That's reasonable. No, 3 games against Akron, Houston Christian, and
you want
Cincinnati 10 punts.
You want to see a few before you go into conference play. Then you kind of know what to expect for the later end of the season. You want to see him on the field a few times.
I've seen, based off the teams that I've watched play football in my entire life, I've seen a lot of punting. Okay, I'll be able to tell you whether or not this guy's a real deal after Cincinnati. Okay. Trenton Gill, Pat O'Donnell, Torrey Taylor. I know my way around a punter. Okay. 10 punts in a season. I think I've seen 10 punts in a game for most of the football that I've watched in my life.
If he only had 10 punts in a season, Joey, which I don't think you were saying.
No, I was saying 10 punts in the first 3 games.
10 punts in the first 3 weeks it'd be reasonable. 10 punts in a season, that means he got injured.
Or Nebraska went 11-1.
No, I mean even if you go 11-1, you're going to punt more than 10 times.
No, I know. I'm making the joke because he said 10 punts.
And you're saying you don't want to see him on the field
I don't want
as much as
I don't know. I want to see.
It's great that you say this guy's going to be a weapon.
Yeah,
but you want him to show.
You hope he watches as much football from the sidelines as I will this season.
Yes, exactly.
But that's a good thing to have, because we are. It's as much angst as special teams has caused around here for a long, long time. It's kind of nice to have some calmness in that phase.
Not even calmness, confidence. There are people incredibly now confident in the special teams unit, that to the point where
you got 2 guys, you got a punter and a place kicker, potentially place kicker, that have never punted or kicked in the Memorial Stadium wind and all that kind of stuff. So there's some trepidation, but it's calm. It's like you don't worry about it because Eckler's in charge. That's a nice little feeling to have going into a season. Hey, I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, he's anti-Ed Foley.
Well, I don't know. I didn't watch an Ed Foley press conference after watching a Mike Eckler press conference, but I was at a lot of Ed Foley press conferences. They could not be more different in terms of just how they talk about the unit. Like Ed would talk about the strategy and how they're going to run down and like the type of kicks and like the wind and like what they do in pregame, right? Where Eckler is just talking about, yeah, we're gonna hit guys in the face and we're gonna like play with a ton of energy and we are going like, and this is how you should do your job. I watched yesterday's Eckler press conference and I kind of thought to myself, I don't think it's a coincidence that guy was coaching a college football playoff team last year. Yeah. I don't think it's like, oh, he was nothing about how Mike Eckler has presented himself and how people talk about Mike Eckler make me think that he was just along for the ride as a volunteer special teams coach, that he greatly impacted not only the special teams unit, but just the entirety of the team in general.